What's going on, people? Here, Ben from Bateman Talks Tottenham, and today I'm joined by my dad, Paul.
Hello.
Today to talk about Ange Postecoglous' first press conference at Tottenham. So, Dad, first impressions, what did you think?
I think he's a very genuine person, a strong person, and basically a good person, and will inspire the players to do his methods. Looking forward to that.
What did you think by his enthusiasm? He straight away started off saying how excited he was for the challenge. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, I'm excited too. I think we all need a bit of a kick up the backside, which I think he's going to give us. And I'm very excited to see and be there to watch that.
And I was particularly encouraged by his sort of enthusiasm to actually be at the club, which has by some felt that previous managers have felt it as more of a chore. What do you think? Do you read too much into that, or do you think that he's just maybe communicated it differently?
It's hard to know yet because we wait to see how he's getting on. But I think it all looks very positive, and I think he's genuinely pleased to be there. He could have stayed and had more years' success at Celtic. But he likes a challenge, which will be great for us. Looking forward to it.
What did you think about his joke that he had with his coaches of saying that they had a guess of how many questions it would take till Harry Kane had a question asked about him?
I didn't quite hear that. It went through quite quickly, but he's obviously a man for a joke, and obviously he and his staff like to play games like that, which is fun to be with. And I guess it's part of his man management work, both with staff and players, is that if you can get a bit of fun in there as well, it all helps.
And did you feel that it sort of shows that as a coaching staff they can bring a bit more of a human side that might engage some of the younger players more, as opposed to some managers who perhaps their old methods can not work with this sort of younger playboy generation of players?
That's very possibly the case. I don't know what the younger players are used to so much these days, but he has given the impression that he will use them, or certainly look at them a lot, and in certain circumstances could well use them. Probably more likely to use them than the two previous managers.
And what did you think of his comments on the step up, saying that the Premier League is obviously the strongest competition and he's not managed it, but he did comment about how he has been a manager at a World Cup. Do you feel a little bit more reassured by that?
Well, yes. I mean, there can't be any higher stage than the World Cup, so he's coped with that. Certainly, it's the highest stage league there is, and I think he's just relishing the challenge, and it'll be great to see how he does.
And I thought one thing he especially mentioned in his conference was how he wants the team to play in a very aggressive attacking style, which is something we've not seen and we've craved as fans for the past couple of years. And what do you think to that?
Yeah, that's very, very exciting. We've watched a lot of balls going sideways and hopefully over the top occasionally. But if you've got a style that's constantly probing and trying to get through and find spaces and balls through lines, then the constant aggressive nature of it should hopefully bring success.
Yeah, and I was also particularly encouraged by how he said he wants to give everyone a clean slate at the club, regardless of situations like Ndombele, which obviously it could be the same situation happens where he doesn't work with the team and his attitude gets in the way. But do you feel encouraged he's willing to give him a try?
Oh, I think it's great that he's going to have a clean slate for everybody, and if they can get themselves up for it, then if we can see the best play of those players that they can do, because we know people like him are incredibly talented. It's just they haven't really shown it, or just so occasionally. But if he's got rise to the challenge, and if he does, then we'll see what happens.
And did you think it was particularly important that he said how he doesn't sort of pay attention to the media persona of him, of being sort of a rookie who doesn't know our league? And did you think that it's crucial that he doesn't take much notice of it and doesn't let it get in his head?
Absolutely, because you don't want to have any sort of crisis of confidence, and I don't think he's the sort of person who will, because he's completely convinced that his methods will work. Maybe not initially. Players have got to get used to his methods and style, and it could take a little while, but he's absolutely convinced, and I think his confidence will make him rise above the fact that he's in top league against top managers, and I feel positive about it.
Yeah, I do as well. I think it was also important that he didn't make promises in certain things. Also, he said our style is going to be an aggressive attacking style, but he didn't make promises of it's going to happen straight away. And I thought it was very important that he sort of kept the sort of everyone's head switched on, that it's not going to be a quick fix, and sort of I thought that was a very encouraging sign.
Yes, and he had other clubs. He's had exactly the same situation, and it always has taken a few games. And I remember hearing him say about one loss they had, but there were certain passes made in that which turned the tide for the future, and they won the next 30 games, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's important that as fans we don't jump on his back if we get a bad start to the season with some difficult home games like Man United and Liverpool coming up. I do think it's important that even if we do have a loss, as long as we can see progress, that we give him the time that he deserves, unlike in the past where fans have been very quickly to jump on a manager's back after win-loss situations we've had in the past. I agree. I think it's important that we give him the time, as he's acknowledged, and he said that the club have acknowledged that a massive rebuild is needed, and that's not going to be a quick fix like that.
That's right. I mean, if we lose a couple of games, then that's a learning experience, isn't it? And he has to be given time to get his methods over, which in his career have always succeeded in the end.
And also, what did you think of his comments about the injuries ahead of the tour, with Fraser Forster being out of a back injury, he said, and also there's speculation over Hugo Lloris's future? Do you feel that means, along with Vicario, who will make his debut, that maybe we'll see some minutes of Alfie Whiteman and Brandon Austin?
I would hope so. One at least of those, I guess, would be on the tour. I guess Hugo's an unknown quantity just at the moment. He still seems to be there, and if the tour's happening that soon, which it is, maybe he'll be going. I don't know. But yeah, it'd be nice to see Brandon or Alfie have a chance to get some minutes.
Yeah, and he also made some comments on people who might be staying behind looking for moves, and also people coming in. Do you hope that by the time we go away on the tour, we may have a centre-back in, like the rumours of Tapsoba, or particularly, I know your favourite, Mickey van der Ven?
Yes, well, I've not really seen much of Tapsoba. I've heard him spoken of very highly. But I've seen a few clips of Mickey van der Ven, which were quite extraordinary.
Yeah, we've all seen that iconic sprint of him making that block on the line right at the end, which is a video that has got many fans very excited on social media.
So I would have thought one of them should be on the books before we go, hopefully.
Yeah, obviously you never know with Spurs. Sometimes we make deals done very quickly. Other times deals can drag on, like the Jed Spence saga last summer. So I guess it's a case of seeing what happens. And his comments on what success will look like this season, how did you feel when he said about getting back to European football was a key thing? Obviously fans, we're used to European football for the past couple of years and feel like we kind of want a trophy, but it sounded to me that he was aiming for both, but at the same time being realistic that we're on a journey and it will take time.
Yeah, I think realism is good. We've got a season without European football to work on the methods, and if we can achieve it for the following season, then I'm sure he'll do as well as anybody else, because by then we'll be in his way of playing.
And also, to finish off, he talked about Harry Kane quite a bit and how Harry Kane is a key part of this club. Do you feel he might be able to convince him to stay, or do you think Harry Kane will decide his future regardless of Postecoglous?
Well, it's all basically up to Harry, but I would have thought if anyone can persuade him to stay, it is probably him, because Harry, like everybody else, should be excited by the prospect of the way they're going to play. So I'd got everything crossed that's crossable.
Yeah, who knows? We'll see. Obviously, there was a rumour that there was an €80 million offer for Harry Kane put in by Bayern Munich. Whether that's true or not, we'll find out. But do you feel it will take a lot more than that for Spurs to let him go?
Well, knowing Daniel Levy, he probably will hold out for as much as humanly possible if Harry decides to go. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he turns down 80 million.
Right, thank you all for watching this press conference reaction from me, Ben and Paul from Bateman Talks Tottenham, and see you in the next one. Come on, you Spurs!
Spurs!